Hi, and welcome back, and thanks for being a part of the show as we start off another busy week of coverage here at Your News Today. In fact, just as soon as I wrap up with you this evening, I'm off to cover the Sayersville City Council meeting, and that's just one of many things that I have scheduled throughout the week, so be sure and tune in. And remember, you can always catch Your News Today on yournewstoday.com, as well as Howard's Cable Channel 7 and Foothills Channel 40. With that said, weather-wise, well, the weekend was a little give and take. And we've got showers and thunderstorms making their way across the viewing area, even more so this evening. Another round or two. It's just been a hit-and-miss situation throughout most all day. A lot of sun here, a lot of showers here, and back and forth. We'll talk about the pattern that will continue to see us with some cool air in place for days on end. Now, there are some models that say that we could see some frost throughout portions of the forecast this week. Some freezing conditions right now. Right now, for the viewing area specifically, we're comfortably into the 40s for nighttime lows each and every night. The lowest is Thursday night with a 40-degree reading, but we're still a little ways out, and I wouldn't put too much certainty on that. But right now, I'm not really worried about the frost, but there is the potential for temperatures to take a dive. We'll talk about that in more detail and how we've got cooler air in store. We're not getting out of the 60s this week. 59 on Thursday, which definitely is the coolest day. What is it like to grow up as a child? Doctors telling your parents that you'll not grow or live to be anything more than a young child, and then make it into your 40s with a disease that most everyone knows very little about, and then have a life-saving double lung transplant, maybe just perhaps in the nick of time. Well, we'll let someone who knows just exactly what I'm talking about tell us all about it this evening, as well as the Great Strides Walk for Cystic Fibrosis, which is coming up here in McGoffin County and Sayersville very soon, and some other big announcements. It is really a story that I think everyone will certainly take to heart and find interesting. Before we get to that and other local headlines, two fatalities in eastern Kentucky, both non-helmet related accidents that happened both in Pike County Saturday afternoon, post 9, since they got a call of a single vehicle accident. A man was riding his motorcycle in Sydney, and reportedly Christopher Absher, who's 34 and from Zebulon, was traveling on US 119. He was on an '09 Kawasaki motorcycle. The vehicle left the left shoulder of the roadway, striking a guardrail face. He was injured fatally on scene and pronounced dead at that location by the Pike County coroner, identified as Russell Roberts. Investigation determined that the helmet was not in use at the time of the accident. And just a little bit later on Saturday afternoon, Post 9 received another call of a single vehicle ATV accident in Kemper in Pike County. Troopers responded to the scene and found that 47-year-old Gary Thacker of Kemper was traveling on Callahan Branch when the '09 Honda ATV he was operating left the roadway, went over an embankment, and then overturned into a creek. He too was pronounced dead at the scene by the Pike County coroner. Investigation also into that accident determined that he too was not wearing a helmet at the time of the accident. A couple of updates for you this evening, both dealing with a couple of trials ongoing, one technically not going on at this time, but delayed again, this time for the second time, but this will be the second and last time, according to a judge, that the trial of Keith Hall, the former state representative of Phelps, will be delayed. And U.S. District Judge Karen Caldwell says that this 2-week delay will be the final delay in the case, but she did grant this last delay in an effort to allow attorneys representing the former state representative to work on another case in another Kentucky city. The case has now been set for June the 22nd. Hall stands accused of bribery on behalf of paying $46,000 to a Kelly Shortridge, who was a mine inspector, for favorable mine inspections on several different mining operations that are owned partially or wholly by Hall, several surface mines in Pike County. While he faces up to 10 years in prison, he also faces testimony on behalf of Shortridge, who has already entered a plea of guilty in his case, agreeing to testify against Hall. Hall's estranged wife is also said to be on the testimony list or witness list for the prosecution as well. Hall has pled not guilty in the case and continues to maintain his innocence. I was not expecting any update to come this soon. I did make a call to the Kentucky Court of Appeals in regards to the case, which of course is before a 3-judge panel as it pertains to the McGoffin County Judge Executive's race, and there is no news to report on that front this evening. We're keeping close tabs on the Court of Appeals, and I'll have that information for you just as soon as it is released. The possibility thereof this week is certainly possible, but that is not definite, and no timeline, as I told you in covering the trial or hearing last week, was given by the judges. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. What must it be like to grow up as a child with a disease that doctors would tell your parents would claim your life at a very early age, and that you would never see adulthood? A disease that not really anyone knows that much about, one that would rob you of your very breath in life more and more each day, and then to continue to hope for years later that a cure or a donor would be on the horizon. Tracy Watson is just that person, and she talks with us tonight very candidly about growing up with cystic fibrosis and how she has received a new lease on life after a very gracious gift. And she also says that it is now her job to spread the word and raise awareness about cystic fibrosis. And becoming an organ donor.
I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at the age of 5. My parents were told I wouldn't live to be 10 years old. Then when I was 10, I wouldn't live to be 15, just on and on. But I done remarkably well. I've been blessed with good health until probably my 30s. I could see a difference in myself and the things I was able to do. But I still was never hospitalized like some people with cystic fibrosis. So in my 30s, maybe twice a year, I'd go into the hospital for IV antibiotics. We would do a 2-week round of IV antibiotics and just try to keep your lungs clear. Do 3 to 4 breathing treatments every day. Take medicine to help digest your food. Just basically all the time having something to do to try to stay healthy. When I hit 40, I could really see a difference in myself. At 41, I had to quit my job. As most of you know, I was a school teacher, so I quit teaching. I'm not back to teaching yet. When I hit my 40s, I could see a real difference in how I was able to get around. Couldn't walk as far without getting out of breath. Had a really hard time getting out of bed in the mornings, trying to get to work. So I did quit work. It's been almost 3 years since I've worked. Before my lung transplant, the last 6 months I was on oxygen 24/7. I didn't hardly leave the house probably the last 3 months before, because it was just too difficult to even walk down my steps at my house. On November 14th is when I received the call. It was like 9 a.m. in the morning. I was still in bed. I answered the call and they said, "Tracy, we have possible lungs for you. We need you to get to UK right away." So I called all my troops and off to Lexington we went. We didn't know, this was my 3rd call, so I wasn't even for sure on my way there. I wasn't for sure that I would get lungs. So once we got there, they got me in the room. I still didn't know. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the day before we actually found out that this surgery would happen. So by 6 o'clock, I was being prepped for surgery. I went back into the OR at 7 on November 14th. And it's been 5 months.
Tracy says she feels great, and she almost instantly started seeing the rewards for what she's been through. Even though she was in the ICU for 7 days, they had her up and walking the very next day following surgery. She says, without a doubt, the most difficult thing in her life that she's ever done is getting up and taking that first few steps after such an invasive surgery. But in 5 short months, she's here, and she's getting stronger every day. Just last week, before this interview, she walked 2 laps around the park. The first time she's done something of that length in 10 years or longer.
I feel great, and I want to just thank everybody for their prayers. I know the whole county was praying for me. Everywhere I go, they say, we prayed for you, and I'm blessed. I mean, I'm a miracle. People tell me I'm a miracle, and I believe it. I know God was with me on that table because I had some struggles. I had good doctors, and they brought me through, and I had God there with me. And He's still with me, and I know this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, and I'm going to keep fighting. And I know it's going to be a struggle the rest of my life, but I can breathe, and I'll take on whatever is sent my way.
And I'm sure that being a recipient of such a gracious, life-saving gift makes you even more aware, as you were before, of how important donors are. Yes. And how we can all, with maybe just signing our name on a line, can make the same difference in someone else's life. You
don't know what a difference you can make in someone's life by being an organ donor. You can't take your organs with you. So save someone's life. I mean, it's a tragedy for one family, and it's a savior for another. We don't know what we're going to be faced with in life, but making that decision is a great decision. Organ donation it's just gives someone hope to, like me. And also, there's a story I would love to share with you guys. The last time that I was at the doctor, I was approached by a woman, and she came up to me and she said, this was in the transplant clinic. She said, did you get a transplant in November? And I was like, yes, I did. She said, my husband has cystic fibrosis. He was in the ICU when you were recovering. She said he was waiting on lungs. She said, and he watched for you to go on your walk every single day because you gave him hope to keep fighting. And that right there just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never felt myself as an inspiration. I have had people that have inspired me, but I didn't know that I was inspiring someone at one of my lowest points in my life, trying to walk with new lungs, and I'm inspiring someone else to hang on to their life and hope for lungs themselves. And that was just a great feeling. That I'm so happy that I ran into her and that she shared that story with me. And he was at the transplant clinic and had a transplant and was doing well too. So organ donation is just the greatest gift that you'll ever give anybody.
And one organization dedicated just to that purpose is Trust for Life, of which Tracy has been designated as a representative thereof as they select one transplant recipient from each county. And of course, she's also one of the founders of the Great Strides Walk here in Magoffin County. The event's been taking place across the nation for years, but now in its 3rd annual event this May the 9th, it's been a part of Magoffin County for quite some time. The 3rd annual Great Strides Walk in the Ramey Park this May the 9th starts at 1. You can register at 1, and they'll, as they have before, have their auction. They'll walk from the park to the IGA. They'll have anointed hearts, giving them some entertainment. They'll have a food booth and inflatables for the kids, and they'll also have a lot of folks from all over, not just Magoffin County in the viewing area, but elsewhere, who are coming to share their support for cystic fibrosis and finding a cure for it, and also helping those individuals who are living with it.
I think that this awareness has just, like you said, I was very reserved about my illness growing up. I don't know, as I grew up, I don't know that there was anybody else in the county with cystic fibrosis. But I think in the last few years, something just told me that I need to bring awareness to this because the cure is really close. They've done so much research, and this money helps out so much with research. There's so many new medicines that are out there that are helping children of all ages and even adults. So this is very important that we raise money to research this and even help families to pay for medicines. All all this money goes to helping just families all around the state. And that's why I do this, just to bring awareness and to help with the research.
As I told Tracy and as I told you, I have looked more forward to doing this interview than perhaps any interview I've done in the nearly, 17 years or so that I've been behind this desk. Truly an amazing turnaround, an amazing life, and all because of a very amazing gift. She tells me that all she knows about her donor is that she was in her 50s and that she passed away suddenly and unexpectedly from a stroke, but had prior to become an organ donor. I've got a list of events and a calendar to spread a few words about in a few moments about things you can do to help raise money for the Great Strides Walk here in McGoffin County. But first, let's go on over to tonight's McGoffin County Farm Bureau-sponsored community calendar. First up, a reminder that pre-registration began for Head Start and KERA preschool here in McGoffin County. It started today at the Head Start office for kids who will be 3 or 4 by August the 1st. Moms, dads, bring your child's birth certificate, social security card, shot certificate, proof of income, and medical insurance card. If you have any questions, call him at 349-3488. And from the Elk Creek Church Youth Group, they're having a fundraiser. It's going to be a movie night, and it's going to be this Friday at 7. The feature will be Left Behind. Tickets are just $5 each. Concessions will be sold. You can get your ticket at the door. Bring your own chair with you. For more information, contact Michelle Heiner at 367-6485. Come and help support the Elk Creek Church's Youth Group. Your attendance greatly appreciated, and you'll have a great time. Left Behind is the feature this Friday at 7. From our friends at the Tip Top United Baptist Church, they're having a revival. It doesn't start till Sunday, so a few days away. Mark it down. It'll be 6 o'clock on Sunday, then nightly at 7 thereafter. Brothers Etsy Allen and Elmer Conley from Indiana will be holding the services. Everyone is invited. And a caregivers support group meeting is coming up. The Family Consumer Sciences of Floyd County Extension Office is partnering with Appalachian Hospice Care to offer a place for caregivers to share the daily challenges they face. Both the agencies are anxious to offer the assistance that they so desperately need and deserve. And this is going to be at the Floyd County Extension Office. It's going to be a week from today, so you might want to go ahead and make plans. I'll remind you about it when it gets a bit closer. But next Monday from 6 till 7:30, and I've got a phone number that I'll have up there for you that you can call if you need some more information. Also a few days away, but something that you'll want to mark on your calendar, the Sagersville Fire Department has put together a fishing tournament, and it's going to be Saturday the 16th over at Paintsville Lake, 8 till 4. It's $100 per boat to enter. Payouts are $1,000 for first, $500 for second, $250 for third, and a $500 prize if you break the lake record. And there's a big fish pot of $10 per person. 349-3256 or 791-3256. Fire Chief Paul Howard's phone numbers and the number to the office. And that's my number, my fax number, my link to get me your calendar announcements any way you can. And, of course, you can also drop them off here at the newsroom on East Maple Street, just above the Sagersville Post Office. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. As Tracy Watson was telling me earlier while doing that prior interview, there are a whole lot of things between now and even after the Great Strides Walk that you can be a part of to help raise funds for awareness of cystic fibrosis. The first on the calendar is actually this Wednesday when you're invited to eat at Mi Hacienda in Sagersville. Remember, the walk will be May the 9th, something for everyone in the Ramey Park, just like last year. But this Wednesday, you can eat at Mi Hacienda any time of day, any meal. Proceeds, a portion of the proceeds will go to support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and the Great Strides Walk here in Sagersville. So eat at Mi Hac this Wednesday. A whole lot of other things as well. A bake sale at the IGA on behalf of Team Tracy this Saturday. On May the 14th, Jackie Prater is going to have a Zumba class with proceeds going to support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And yes, that's after the walk, but you can still donate before or after. And you don't have to be on a team if you want to support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. You can just come to the park. You can help raise money before, after, during, what have you. You can buy a t-shirt or not. It's up to you. All kinds of great ways to help support and raise awareness. Of course, a lot of Team Dalton t-shirts are going to be seen as well. You can get your Team Dalton t-shirt as well. Or like I said, you can just show up and be a part of this community event, which has come a long way in a very short time, but still has a long way to go in an effort to continue to raise awareness and continue to find a cure. So you can eat at Mijas this Wednesday, any time of day. Portion of the proceeds going to support the cause. A bake sale this Saturday at the IGA. The Zumba event on May the 14th. Maybe some more dates to come. And you can maybe even think of an event of your own. And turning to your Licking Valley RECC forecast, while it's been a case of now you see them, now you don't, in the studio and for much of Sayersville and for some of the viewing area, now we see them. That being some showers that are continuing to just be a hit and miss, come and go situation and scenario, with more to come the rest of the evening. No, I don't know what the status is in the ball games in the park. There was one game at 6 and one game at 8. Andrew played at 8. I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen and if the field's going to be playable or not, with a whole lot of other parents. So that's all I can tell you on that front. But on the weather front, this front that put us up to 74 degrees today here at the studio, well, we're going to fall back to about 45 under mostly cloudy skies tonight. Cloudy skies for the most part. And that 30% chance of scattered showers and storms, well, has proved into being pretty much a really good chance, as we've already seen outside. And we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast, where things are going to improve with a little sunshine in your forecast. That's right, those light to moderate showers this evening are going to wind down, and tomorrow will just be cool and breezy. Check it out, sunny and 64, but we've got winds out of the west-southwest, light in nature but increasing from, say, 9 to 14 miles per hour to gusts upwards of 23, 25 miles per hour at times. So it's going to be a bit brisk out there tomorrow. We'll have some sun to go along with it, and it will be dry. 30% chance of some showers, mainly after midnight tomorrow night. And then that same threat will continue into your Wednesday with partly sunny skies. Still in the mid-60s, still below par or below average. Should be more technically correct, I guess. And we're going to stay that way throughout the entire forecast period. Right now, I don't have any frost to speak of, but we're going to watch things, especially as we get into your Thursday, when we will get to right now the low point in the forecast, which is 40, and a daytime high of 59. Still sunny, still clear and calm, partly cloudy late, but definitely on the chilly side of things. Will we dip down into the 30s far enough to see a little frost? It's not in the cards yet for the viewing area, but we're keeping an eye on it. As for Friday, which is forever away at this point, we've got a 20% chance of showers, but still mostly sunny skies. Temperatures still hovering. Can't get away from that 60-degree mark, and in the low 40s again Friday night. It's jacket weather again. And then for your weekend, well, without further ado, the clouds come back. And for Saturday's forecast, we've got mostly cloudy and a 50% chance of showers, and a high still lingering at 60 degrees. Just can't shake it. And then 62 on your Sunday, and we're still in the low 60s to 62 again on Monday of next week. I have no end in sight to the low 60s. But we got some sun and some rain and a whole lot of things in between. For now, that's my time. Thank you for being a part of it. City Council coverage from Sayersville and much more when we see you back here tomorrow night for another edition of Your News Today. Good night.